to go live. Hey, and we are live. I better mute the YouTube channel. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Horner. Good to have you here. Sorry, I'm 2 minutes late tonight. It was a 2 minutes for the start of this stream and missed the pre-show. Usually set aside 15 minutes for a pre-show as well. Hopefully this stream is coming through okay, because right now, let's see if I click play. Yeah, it's there. That's good. And I'll keep an eye out for comments tonight. Let's do a pop out of your chat. And I have learned some things regarding all of this since last week. And who knows, some of that information may be of benefit to you. So I thought I'd share some of what I learned. We're going to have some fun with this. And I'm really excited to get underway here. So let's bring up Zoom now, and we'll have your comments along side by side. Okay, here is Zoom. When I say comments, I'm not, yeah, I have the Zoom chat available. Let's take a look there. And Janine says, good evening in the Zoom chat. Good evening, Janine, from Vancouver Island, Nanaimo, British Columbia. I also want to bring up that chat I mentioned from YouTube so we don't miss anything that folks there have to say. Ah, there we go. Got it side by side for the moment. Perfect. Well, where to begin? I'm going to begin by looking back a little bit, literally. Looking back at that. So that is a white background, quite obviously. You may like it, you may not like it. You may say it's almost there. You may see a wrinkle or a fold. But I want to talk about backgrounds for just a moment. We got this background, Triple Toe and I, about a month ago. And the reason we got it was because I needed a white background for a photograph. And we thought, wouldn't that make a nice video background as well? So I started participating as what they call a panelist on Zoom with a group on YouTube called Office Hours. And to part of that, the way the ecosystem that they live in includes Discord. And I have a Discord account. I haven't been active in it very much at all since I started it about 3 years ago. Got a son who's very active in it. And so what they recommended with this Office Hours group, when you join them on Discord, is to have a white background. So that's what kind of spurred the white background. It may look nice. It looks clean. It looks simple. It's not all that complicated. It's basically, well, it's called and purchased as, from Amazon, a white background. It's kind of like a really nice sheet. It's literally that thin. And that's what's basically hanging and clipped behind me. We try to stretch it out a little bit to get some of those wrinkles out. But we do a little bit more than that. And I thought I'd start by demonstrating what that is. And in order to do that, I'm going to leave this microphone. In last week's show, which is one of the things I've learned, you'll see in a moment, is that I like to do a little show and tell, but I often, even in a small room like this, drift away from this microphone, and then I'm hard to hear if you could hear me at all. So I'm wearing a lavalier mic as well. And so what I'm going to do is for a moment here, I'm going to ease out of this microphone into the lavalier. And then I'm going to take out my earpiece because I'm going to stand up for a moment and demonstrate something. Okay, so you should be hearing me on the other microphone now. I could even push that one out of the shot. And lo and behold, if technology is working properly, you can hear me, which is fantastic. So what I want to do now, my gimbal off camera seems to have died, which is not a good thing, but that's okay. What I want to do now is we're going to use NDI to go to a different source. You know what? I'm going to plug something in. Hang on. It was already plugged in. I just needed to hit the on button. So in just a moment, you're going to be hearing. Do you hear that? I'm wondering if the mic picks it up. It's a bit of a racket. It didn't take long for that to fire up, and I'll show you what we're talking about here in just a moment. Okay, so let's go to Zoom. And we're going to share our screen. Okay, so now I believe you should be seeing me from this camera, which is my old iPhone 7 Plus. And this is the source of the noise. I'm looking for the name of this product. Bought it on Amazon recently. It's just a steamer. Put water and just go over this to try and work out any wrinkles. It's got a little bit of dust on there. And there are many products that will work. You could even use an ironing board if you want to iron. But I've been working a little bit, volunteering on a program called Mad in the Kitchen. And there's a co-host who has her camera setup is in a bedroom. She needed a backdrop, and they basically had me put up a sheet. I think it was a sheet or drapes or something, lots of wrinkles. And the woman who is the host, the main host, Madeline, she had one of these, and I had never done anything with one of these before, and did a semi-good, not very good job really, of getting the wrinkles out, but I didn't really know how to use it. So we purchased one for the purpose of this white backdrop. And I just find that if I just barely make contact, it does a really good job. Do you hear that? You gotta be careful. Don't point it at you. Put your fingers in front of it because you will burn. That's steam. Anyway, I'm going to shut that off for right now. We're not done with that just yet. I'm going to set that down for a moment. And I want to show you a different angle. We're going to use yet another wireless camera. It's going to be my iPad. Okay, here we go. So what I wanted to point out here, Janine says she's working on a house deal tonight. She's a realtor, but listening in. Good luck with the house deal, Janine. Okay, so another thing I did was I got this light right here, which is called a Nanlite, and it very effectively backlights my shoulders. And let me hold it down. There we go. It actually puts a little bit of shine on my top, my bald head when I'm sitting down, but it helps provide a little separation between me and the background. What's also really cool is there are several different colors. You can adjust the colors, so blues, greens, purples, and you can also adjust the color temperature, which is really nice. For shooting indoor like this with the lights that I have, it's more of a daylight look rather than a warm look. So warm would be about 3,200 degrees Kelvin. Daylight for me is right about, for most people, is about 5,200 degrees Kelvin. Some people might push it up to 5,600 degrees. So this is just a nice little touch to have. I'm going to take that off though for right now, because we're going to do something. So I've got the light on a little reticulating arm that goes onto the post here. And the crossbar is really a shower curtain, you guys, a shower curtain rod. So there's a rod going across, and then I've got at each end, I've got a rod going vertically. And I went with the rods vertical as opposed to stands, because the stands have the legs that come out, and this room's quite small, and every bit of real estate is precious. So I didn't want to have to be stepping over that and it taking, running my chair when I back up into that either. So we'll put this down for right now. Hopefully the audio is good. And what I'm going to do, let's see, can you really see what I'm going to do from this perspective? I think we'll go back to the other angle. Hang on. Go to the Canon 7, excuse me, the iPhone 7 Plus. There we go. We're going to use this angle. And I had another angle here, but the phone died. Let's see if I can bring it back up. Not the phone. Yeah, it looks like my gimbal died. Darn. Okay, that happens. So we are now on this angle. Great. This will show what I wanted to point out. So the way I have this backdrop up here, which again is very much like a sheet, is with these clips. These are very small clips. See if I can bring them up to the lens here. But they're very effective clips. And you get 6 of them for about $8 on Amazon. So I'm taking this white sheet down, and I'll explain why in just a moment. I called it a white sheet. It literally sells as a backdrop, meant for photography. But the reason I'm taking it down, I guess I can get into that right now, is I mentioned that program Office Hours. Well, like I said, I've been appearing as a panelist, really to listen more than to speak, because I'm learning so much from some really smart people, men and women, who some have been in the business for a few years of live streaming and or broadcasting. Some have been at it for decades, and collectively, they're really smart. They know about live streaming, video production, broadcast production, audio, the things about audio. I mean, audio can be such a tricky thing, and I total respect for audio experts. So I think we almost have all the clips off there. In fact, I think we do. Let's get those out of here first. I think what we'll do is we'll just set them down outside the studio here, just off camera. Awesome sauce. And then what I will do is we'll remove the backdrop. So I'm just going to pull it off that top rod. And I'm going to summon. Don't hold that against me. I'm going to call out for Triple Tall. Triple Tall said she'd be here standing by, ready to take it so it can be rolled. We found that to help avoid getting new wrinkles, if it can be rolled up, that seems to work better. Now, I know there's about a 20-second, 40-second delay between live and what's appearing on YouTube. And maybe Triple Tall's been distracted because she's not here. So I might just have to set it down to the side as well, just off camera. Here I am folding it. The thing I said I wasn't going to do, but we won't get too far with it. All right. So we're going to sit down again and carry on. And we'll bring it back to our other microphone. Let me plug I'll get there, I promise. In fact, we'll just flip it over from that camera. We're going to work our way back to our main camera, but first let's go back to the iPad view. There we go. We're going to get there. So I put my earpiece, which is an IFB, in my pocket. So we're going to plug that back in to our Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. There we go. We're plugged back in. Yay. And then we're going to switch back to our other camera. Hang on. There we go. Fantastic. Woo! And then we're going to bring back in the Shure Sm7b, which you're not hearing me on right now. You're not hearing anything on it because you're hearing the wireless mic. But we're going to ease the wireless mic out. And bring back in the Shure Sm7b test 1-2. You should be getting me right now. Curiously, I'm not hearing it as well as I thought I normally would. Test 1-2, test 1-2. I think you guys are getting me. Okay, I'm just going to bring that up a lot more just to confirm. It'll be a little bit loud. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. No. That's odd. Test 1, 2. Yeah, should be able to hear me. There we are. I think you're hearing me. Yeah, good. And let's see, I've got let's go back to our other views so we can check out YouTube. Where were we? We were on, I know we had a view of the YouTube chat just a moment ago. There it is. Hey, Tom, there you are. Good to see you, Tom. So let's bring up Zoom. So one of the things I learned this week was regarding backdrops. Apparently, a lot of people think dark backdrops look better than white backdrops for live streaming. And one of the things I heard in terms of a concern is the way it actually appears on the Apple TV, interestingly enough. So Triple Tall and I had already ordered a dark backdrop, a gray one. And so I'm glad we did that. There wasn't much, it was like $18 or so. In fact, I think I could show you. Hang on a second. Yeah, let's see if I can share this. I should be able to. Interestingly, I'm having a hard time getting Zoom to play nice with me right now. Come on. Zoom will not come up. Like, okay, I got to double click on this, I think. You know, my Zoom has to pop out. There it goes. So what had happened there was the Zoom window was minimized. So it was in my tray, the bottom of my monitor. And when I wanted to bring it up full, it was not showing. It turns out it was just showing as a very small window. And I had to click a little icon to make it appear large again. So that's what's happened there. And I wanted that so that I could share my screen. But I do see that we have 2 participants in here. And it would be myself, and it looks like Janine, who I know is listening in, and she was not going to be able to participate tonight. Okay, so let's go to share screen, and I want to share screen 2. And we'll do it this way. Okay. So I'm hoping that you guys can see what is Twitter on this browser. You should be able to do that. And let's see here. I'm going to double check. Not over there. Okay. So let's focus on this tweet right here. I tweeted this out on, gosh, what was it? Sunday, I believe. I tweeted to FiLMiC Pro. FiLMiC Pro is an app I've been using for a number of years. It's a camera app, great for video. I mean, fantastic for video. I love this app since I first discovered it. I've gone through phones upgrades over the years. I always have FiLMiC Pro on it. For me, I always get it. And I tweeted at FiLMiC Pro, can you please tell me why library preview includes red color? I don't know that I'd never noticed that before. And so I'll just make this image larger, and it's cropped. But after you shoot clips in FiLMiC Pro, you can go into your library to see what clips are in there. So you'll see your most recent clip at the top like you do here. And again, this is cropped, but I'm focused on the information within all this red. And it's telling me it's a 4K clip that was shot at 30 frames per second and so on. It's a large clip. It's almost it's 3.557 gigabytes. And it lasted 6 minutes and 35 seconds, but look, it's red. And this was an interview with a coworker / friend. It was important to her and important to me. It's for a project she's involved in. And it was important to me that this not be like a red alert kind of red. Something's gone wrong. Now, I could play the clip in the app, so that gave me some peace of mind. Well, let me tell you what I got for a response. So Elliot Fitzroy, who apparently is with FiLMiC Pro, a lot of times FiLMiC Pro over the years has responded to me directly. Here, the response from Elliot is, hi, Mark. Absolutely. Our library will scan for a dominant color in your shot and use that for the clip background. For example, in your screenshot, it is sampling the red t-shirt. Well, that was interesting to me because it's cropped here, but you see this, there's this gray beneath it. That's a separate clip that was shot, about a minute earlier from this red highlighted one. And it's the exact same framing of the exact same subject. They were shot like about a minute apart, but it didn't make it red. So I'm just curious why it would choose in one instance to make it red and in the other not red. But the whole notion of using the dominant color as the color for the library is actually, I think, great because it gives you a visual cue as to which clip right away is the one you're looking for. If someone was wearing a lot of blue and it was a similar blue in the library, then you'd have a good place to start for looking for what you're hunting for. So that was good. Now let's bring it back here. So let's bring Zoom back up. Okay. So regarding the background, learned that apparently people think dark colors look better, and especially gray. So I'll let you know. In fact, you'll be seeing that. I'm sure I'll do a future Horner's Corner with the gray backdrop. So we can see what we think of that. Your comments are always welcome. Do you have a color that you use if you do any photography or video or live streaming, or maybe you just have you have photos that are taken and you like a specific solid color for a backdrop in family photos, graduation photos, whatever it might be? Would love to hear about it. Feel free to leave a comment. And speaking of that, let's bring up your YouTube comments. Make sure I'm not missing anything. And I'm not. All right. Gonna take a drink of water here. Not water. It's bubbly or bubbly. Sparkling water. There's something else I wanted to talk about. Another thing I learned. So in my what's called an audio chain, which is going from my microphone ultimately to the computer, which is a laptop in this case, I don't go straight into the laptop. I got a couple of pieces of hardware. And one is called a DBX286S, and it has a lot of controls that help me do the type of settings that you would normally do in post-production with compressors and gates and things of this, enhancers, de-essers. So hopefully you achieve a really clean sound. And so it sounds good when we're live. Then out of that, I go into a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, which then has a USB connection and gets me into the PC, the laptop. And I probably bought this system back in, I think it was 2017. So about 4 years ago. And recently, since joining this group I mentioned called Office Hours, a lot of very smart people when it comes to audio, and they're very particular. They do, before every broadcast, they have everybody do an audio check, and they all listen and actually measure what are called the LUFS, which is a level of -24 LUFS that they aim for. And they want to make sure there's nothing distracting. And it turned out there was a bit of a hiss in my microphone, the Rode SM7B, or the audio chain. And so very recently, they suggested some things. And what they suggested, one, was replacing a cable. The cable, I have it right here. The cable they were talking about was this one. So that you can see the 3 pins in there, that's an XLR, and this is a 1/4 inch. So this was coming out of the DBX286S, and the XLR was going into the front of the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. Wow, could it be that simple? And then in addition to that, and I have an answer, they suggested a couple of other things. One was getting what they called not a power strip or a power supply, but a conditioner, which is like a power supply, you know, the strip with all the outlets. But the one they were recommending was cost more. And they said it does a really good job of regulating the voltage, especially when it came to spikes. So I went ahead and ordered one of those. It's not here yet. I can talk about that and show you what's on its way. But I did get a replacement for the 1/4" to XLR cord, and I put that replacement, which is a 1/4" to 1/4", and I no longer have a hiss. In addition to that, everything plays nicer together. I can actually achieve a headphone level. Before, oftentimes I could crank it and I couldn't hear anything in the headphone. The settings in the DBX 286S, the enhancer, all the settings, everything seems to be playing far more nicely now. And I'm not saying I've got the best settings just yet. I'm going to artfully play some more in the future, but I know it's better than what I had. So that was pretty cool. Let's see, Alan Photo says, it's an established photographic concept that the viewer's eye goes to the lightest area in the image. Therefore, in high quality classic portraiture, the background is always darker than the subject. Well, that makes perfect sense. Well, thank you, William. And now I feel even better about ordering that gray backdrop. So let me show you my screen again, and I'll show you some of what I've been talking about and what's to come. So yeah, I'm going to show a few Amazon links here. And again, these are all, most of what you're seeing here is, you know, not very expensive at all. So let's change something in Zoom. We'll share my screen again. Glad you're here, William. Awesome. William is a photographer and he's a really good one. So love to have him bringing on some of his, sharing some of his knowledge. So let's go to this screen and we'll go here. All right. And what I'll do is I'll bring up this browser. So here's the backdrop that's on the way. And it is on Amazon. It says it was $40.98. It's now $18.10. Julius Studio, 16 feet by 9 foot, gray chroma key fabric. Now, chroma key, interesting. Honestly, my wife found this one. Triple Tall, that's her handle. And I said, pull the trigger, it's gray. So I'm not sure how chroma key applies to a gray backdrop, but I'll read about it later or just wait till it gets here and play. So over here, now here's the cord that was my nemesis. Again, I've replaced this cord with a simple, instead of 1/4" to XLR, there's the 1/4". If I slide over here, you can see the XLR. Much better situation now, 1/4" to 1/4". I think I might have, yeah, this is what I got to replace it, 1/4" to 1/4". And I just got the 3-foot one because my setup is pretty straightforward. So let me show you my gimbal. I'd love to have my other gimbal. Triple Tall, you know, the gray case with my earlier Xinyun gimbal, I think is how you say it. Anyway, I'll go handheld here. We'll just go handheld. Hang on a second. I'll show you the setup that I'm talking about. Okay. I'm going to change this camera around before we go to it. We're going to go handheld. Okay. Let's get together. Yeah. Playing me some Haley Mills. Parent Trap, right? Okay. Yeah, that really dates me. Okay. Now we're going to go to share a different source. And we'll go to this screen. And we're on the screen, but this isn't the NDI source I wanted. So I'm going to go to Paige's iPhone 7. Aha, here we go. And what I'll do is I'll bring up the other microphone. So just a second here. Okay, so now we're on the other microphone. This is the gimbal that just ran out of power. I thought I had a really good charge on that. I should have charged it today, live and learn. I had so many things charging. So the Shure Sm7b, its cord goes into the back of the DBX286S. And out of the back, this cord also emerges and goes into the focus right now. So this simple cord has won the day for me already. Now, this is the first time I'm using the second channel, and this is the wireless microphone. So the receiver, the lavalier that I'm wearing, excuse me, I'm wearing the lavalier, which is on my collar, and the transmitter of it I have in my pocket right now. Meantime, the receiver for the lavalier is just right here. Okay? And it's got a cord that comes off of it, and it goes up, and it goes into this adapter. This is just a simple, right here, this is just a simple adapter. This plugs into the end of it, and then I plug the whole thing into this XLR input. And now we've got 2 channels of audio. So if I turn this all the way down, watch, you won't hear me. Test 1, 2, 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 test 1, 2. I brought it back up. And what I'll do when we go back to this microphone, I've already got the level I want. It's not very high on channel 1 here. But when we want to go back to the other microphone, we'll turn this down. Again, this device has a USB going into the laptop, which is simply a Lenovo. By the way, my webcam is an iPhone 12 Pro Max. That's my webcam. Okay, so when we want to go to the other mic, we'll turn this mic down. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2, test 1, 2, and then I'm bringing up the mic. I'm right about there. Now you hear me on this mic. So that is my solution for when I want to walk away, which is pretty darn cool, I think. I'm sorry for the shaky shot here, but nonetheless, able to get the principle across. And let's see here. I'm using, this monitor, and you're gonna get infinity here, but that's an NDI monitor where I can choose different sources. Go to the hamburger menu here, and we'll go back to the iPad. Now you're seeing the shot from the iPad, and the iPad is just down here. So I'm going to put this phone down now. Take a break with a drink. One of the things, let's go to the other mic. One of the things that's a bit challenging, 2 things about this room, the lights. So the lights I have in here are they're pretty bright. So I've got 3 primary lights. And by the way, that reminds me, we didn't put the, sorry about that. We didn't put the backlight back up here. So let's do that now. One of the things that's a bit of a bugger is this cover. It doesn't like to stay on here. At least I haven't mastered it yet. I've only had it for a short period of time, but I'm just going to keep it off right now for the purpose of not having to fiddle too long. So it's a small light. It's a Nanlite is what it's called. Nanlite, I've learned, makes very good lights, and they have some really nice, much larger light panels. The one I have, it's the Nanlite Lidolite or Lidolite 5C, and this is the user manual with it, but you'll see when we go to the direct overhead shot, it lights my shoulders. You can kind of get an indication of that here to put some separation between me and the background, and it'll put a little shine there. Hey, I got to tell you too, it's warm. You know, we've had a warm day here, and inside the home, as many of you who live in the area, Western Washington, can relate to, not all of us have air conditioning up here inside our homes. Most don't. And there goes the light, and I should have charged that all day too. Because I used it for, how long was I on office hours this morning? Well over an hour. So that's the first time. No, I know I need to charge it. It's probably not going to last 2 full hours. Okay, so let's go back to our other shot here. Oh, that's just too good. So, hey, you know what I love about live is I get to make all sorts of mistakes in front of people and show you that it's all good. I'm going to go back to this microphone now. So here we go. Part of having fun with this and growing in this space is being willing to put yourself out there and have things go wrong. So I've got to remember to charge everything, including the gimbal, including the Nanlite. All right, that's too cool. All right, let's bring up the YouTube comments, see, make sure I'm not missing anything there. William came back, maybe not in your small space, but when you have enough distance between your subject and the background, each can be lit separately, and you can control the luminance of each, i.e. make the background dark. Yes, Will, in the video space, done some of that, and I would love to have more depth of field to do that and help make, you know, the subject, in this case me, pop a bit more. And also, Will, we should talk cameras a bit. You're a camera aficionado. For this particular application, I'm going to say the camera I want is, in the eyes of many, overkill, but it is the camera I would love to have. And it's the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K. In fact, I'd like 2 of them. But, you know, they go for about $2,000 a piece, and then you got to get a lens and blah, 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 blah. But I'd love to get some of that depth of field. I mean, there's not much in this space to play with. If I make it really shallow to put some blur on what's behind me or what might ever be behind me here, any, you know, of this from me will probably put me in and out of focus, because it's going to require a very shallow depth of field and a really good lens. Anyway, so I wanted to share more about what I've been looking at in terms of some of the gear and so forth. So let's share the screen again. For some reason, it says screen 2 is dark, you guys. Oh, did we lose? Well, let's see what happens when I share screen 2. Guys, please let me know in the comments if you're not seeing screen 2. And I think I can check the YouTube feed, although there is a delay, but maybe I should just check your comments. That might be faster. Nothing in the comments. Okay, so far, I think we're good. I'm watching YouTube, and the delay is such that I haven't switched to screen 2 yet. So since I haven't seen it in the comments to confirm, I'm just going to wait a few seconds, if you'll bear with me, just to confirm that you're able to see screen 2. You know, I wonder if I go into the YouTube studio, okay, if it would show me, if I had YouTube studio up, would it show me sooner than what people are seeing on YouTube? Okay, you are seeing screen 2. Good, I can see it in the YouTube feed. Thanks, you guys, for your patience. All right. So yeah, this was my solution for the XLR issue. Got rid of the XLR 1/4" cable, and the 1/4" to 1/4" was my solution. And this is the Lincoln Perk 6.35 millimeter 1/4" TRS to 6.35 millimeter 1/4" TRS stereo audio cable, male to male. And yeah, it wasn't expensive at all. It was $10.79. This is the Nanlite, the Light 5C RGB WW. Now, I know a lot of times people will say links in the description. I haven't done that, and I there's no incentive here for me to get any Amazon kickbacks, because that's not what I'm participating in at the moment. I just wanted to show you in case you had questions about any of this and bring it up on screen. And this is the power conditioner that I have coming. So front view, and back view. I think if we click this, we can get bigger. Yeah, there we go. So that's the back. The front. Another angle on the front. And it's a FiLMiC. And so the name of it is the FiLMiC PL8C 15 amp Advanced Level Power Conditioning SMP EVS lift 9 outlets, pull out LED lights, isolated outlet banks. And what does it say about it, about this item? It says 9 outlets total with dual retractable LED lights. FiLMiC's exclusive SMP technology provides the highest level of surge and spike protection available. Has some other points there, but it seems like it does a good job of basically maintaining your power source at a stable level and protecting you from power surges and spikes. So that's on its way. And when you've got hardware in your chain, not to mention your computer and so forth, that can be very important. Something really good to hang on to. So let's bring it back to the main camera. There we go. And we'll bring up YouTube, see if there are any other questions or any other input there. All right. So yeah, since last week, that's basically what has happened. In addition to that, I did volunteer to work on a program called Mad in the Kitchen again. I've done it several weeks in a row, usually on Saturdays. This past week, it was Friday and Saturday. On Friday, I went to Mercer Island here in Washington State, which is the Seattle area. And I went to a home of a chef, and he was our backup chef in case the guest chef couldn't make it, who was back east. And we did a rehearsal Friday with the backup chef as the main guy. And I got to switch using an A10 Mini Pro from Blackmagic. It was very basic. It's just a couple of buttons, but it was fun. It was fun to set up, really fun to meet the gentleman who was the chef, and just be part of the chain of people that were rehearsing that day for a live stream broadcast of a program involving people on camera from around the world, the talent, and the people who were the technical people all around the world, from mainly across the United States, but also in London, England, and Manila in the Philippines, all working together to make that show happen, from audio to switching. So yeah, that was really cool. So that was Friday and Saturday. And then I mentioned I also interviewed a friend / coworker for a neat project that she's involved with. And for that, normally I would have taken my DSLR and shot with video, but man, the iPhone 12 does such a nice job. I just used my iPhone, and I had the same wireless microphone that I've been using today. And in fact, let's go back. Let's see where we're at. Let's go back to we're on our proper mic. Good. So I think with that, you guys, no other questions. I think that'll wrap it up. I said I'd be here Thursday at 7 Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, and I'm here. Thank you for those of you who showed up. And if you're watching the replay, I appreciate it. I get the sense something's happening here because I am hearing keys just around the corner, as if someone's about to go out the door and letting me know it. So never a dull moment. And that was the door. So I hope you have a good evening or day wherever you might be, and come back next Thursday. I've set this up as a panel so that if you want to join, you can, not only just in the chat, but you can be on camera and take part in our discussion. And the aim is to grow a community where we ultimately share knowledge. And if you'd like to do that, in fact, let me bring up that link. The way we're doing it is you join us on Zoom and you'll get a link, you click it and you register. It's free and you'll get an email with a link every week, letting you know, giving you the link to join that week's program. So when you join, I'll see that you joined as a panelist and I can click a button and you can join us on your webcam. So let me get that link off my Zoom here. I figured out the reason that we didn't have the regular link last week was because I had set up my Zoom webinar add-on month to month to expire at the end of every month. So it had expired. All right, let's go to my account. Let's go to webinars. Shows that we're live right now. And I believe we can see the registration URL down here. Indeed, we can. So I'll put it in the YouTube link. This will let you register in the YouTube chat. So just a moment, we'll bring that up. Okay, so this is going into YouTube chat now if you'd like to register, because I'd love to have you come on. If you want to talk about anything related to tech, photography, live streaming. William, you'd be great to hear from, share some of your knowledge, you can ask each other questions, hear more about your work and what you've got going on. And I will put it in the Zoom chat for anybody. I know, Janine, you're already familiar with it, but we'll put it there in case someone's showing up last second. There we go. All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining. It's been a pleasure to have you here. I hope you have a wonderful evening or day. And if you watch the replay, thank you very much. Take care. See you next time. Again, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Good night.